we will go. Did I get too close? I don't know what happened to mine. Well, Greg, I'll recognize you as.
Sure. Thank you, Your Honor. Let's see, just a couple things tonight. We've had an issue with parking, especially during snow, but just in general. Works to turn around on Spring Street at the end of the street. We're going to bring that back forward for discussion next week. If you want to take a look at it, the car that parks down there that we've been unable to get to move consistently. So we're looking at addressing that through signage, perhaps, doing a permanent solution rather than just through snow emergencies. Sidewalks, we have an issue. We've posted on social media. We haven't taken any enforcement actions yet, but we want to encourage folks to get out there and clean up their sidewalks. Next step, we would probably do some warnings. Roughly 85% of the community so far, at least as of this morning, still had a lot of sidewalk shoveling to do. I know it froze the next morning, so we're not taking enforcement actions. We're just trying to encourage folks this time around to get out there and shovel their sidewalks. Just wanted to reiterate it tonight, and if you could share that social media post, that'd be great too. Contractors, we had this last snowstorm, we had a number of contractors for some of the larger businesses in town pushing snow out into the street and leaving it there and making some messes. So Mark contacted, mics are off, each of those entities, and they were going to work with their contractors to get that taken care of. Next council meeting, you'll see 2 side letters of agreement for the 2 last officers, just to match what council action has already been taken, so we can attach that to the contracts. And then we've come up, I think, with a recommendation on how to address our shifts. Rather than reverting strictly to the 8-hour shift, come up with kind of a modified shift plan that we want to discuss at the next council meeting. That would basically have us at 5 12-hour shifts, 2 8-hour shifts during the week, and get us about 29 more hours per officer, and then simply address that through PTO. But we'll have more discussion on that and get that information out to you next time around. We met this morning to discuss that. Just want to kind of give you a heads up on that as well. During some of our recent discussions on economic development, the Raiders site, and a couple other sites, the issue of the road, water, sewer, and storm has come back up. So I handed you out this map from the earlier draft RISE application. What is being proposed is that the existing road, which if you follow the red road to the end of the green 34AC lot, roughly there is paved already. And then the portion from there to the circle at the end between the 4 yellow lots, the discussion has been deeding that over to the city without any restrictions, requirements on construction or anything to that effect. The only thing that we would be required to do at this point in time would be snow maintenance. The reason for doing that, applying for EDA funds and RISE funds to get the road and infrastructure in place. That could possibly extend to the mall. We'll have to talk about that some more. The EDA piece of the funding, we have 2 things that make it particularly attractive for EDA funding right now, and that is that we have a disaster declaration in our area, and with the recent Case New Holland closure, I'm not using the right term, but it's depressed economy, I guess is one word for it. That's not the technical term that I'm looking for EDA. So we have the ability to apply for EDA funds in addition to RISE funds. Those RISE funds at 50/50, not 80/20, could be utilized as matching dollars with EDA funds. So they're proposing that we, along with that application process, take that stretch over without any requirements, within any time frames, no requirements whatsoever, other than obviously the section that's already paved, we'd have to plow. So before going too far into that discussion, I wanted to just kind of bring it up tonight and see if there's any objections, because they'll have to put that easement, or not, excuse me, right away together. There'll be a little engineering cost, there'll be a little legal expense for them to do that. But we've got a real opportunity to apply for EDA funds and RISE funds to try to get that done, and turn that into a true business park. So,
What's the RISE funds you're gonna?
there's two different ones. The 80/20 funding is when you have a specific job, which is, for example, with the business that's out there was a problem because we would have ended up having to pay that back because they wouldn't have met the job requirements. The 50/50 is just a community funding one. So the requirements are dramatically less. And we could use those funds then to match EDA dollars to get that in. It's not tied to jobs in that case. It's just community funding. And so it appears, and Mike's going to have some additional conversations with the federal EDA. I can't remember if our contact is out of Kansas City or Chicago. Chicago, I think it's Kansas City. He has a relationship with on that topic, and get some feedback, and then after he gets that feedback, I bring it back for council consideration. But any objection to proceeding along those lines?
I'm confused on the no restrictions. What's?
No requirements.
Requirements, yeah.
We wouldn't be required to pave the road any further. We wouldn't be required to put the water and sewer in. We wouldn't be required to do anything other than simply take over the right-of-way in our name so that we can apply for the EDA funds. No restrictions.
Ask us to build it later.
So there'd be no timeline that city has to put the road in within 5 years. None of that. Water, no. Sewer, no. None of that would have to be in there. I mean, I've told them that none of that could be in there.
So can you legally cover the 50% RISE match with EDA funding?
We can use the RISE funds for EDA match, yes. And then, without knowing what the
Other way around?
no, using RISE funds for the EDA match.
Okay. I thought you had to match the RISE funds too.
Well, it's a 50/50 grant, and then we'd use the RISE 50%, and then the other 50% could come from EDA funds. So the match, maybe I'm saying it backwards, but
Okay.
our RISE match would be met with EDA funds and vice versa. Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it, yeah. That said, we don't have final cost estimates for the water, sewer, storm, and street. We'll have to put all that together, have that updated from what we had previously a couple of years. When was this? Well, this is from July of 21, so that was discussion was going on late 21, early 22, and didn't make sense at the time from my perspective, but without any requirements being put upon us and the opportunity for EDA right now, it seems to make sense to at least take the right-of-way over without having any further requirements, other than we could apply for the funding.
So if I understand you correctly, us taking the right-of-way over makes us in a better position, or more, gives us a competitive advantage when we apply for these other funds.
Yeah, it needs to be in the city's name in order to get
Otherwise, we can't
the
even
funds.
apply for the funds.
The other piece
Okay.
is, we're working to finalize the easements on the water along here and the force main here, and cleaning that up with food liner. And then we talked about doing a general easement from this point around the building, which then goes over to Emerald Glen Drive. Until we can vacate that, just doing a general easement there, because it's just too hard to locate when you, from the building over to Emerald Drive through that mess. And just doing a general easement so that we can maintain the force main in the interim until we have the opportunity to get rid of that force main altogether. And if you recall, gravity would then follow the street and come out this back and head northeast through that property. And then it would come back down gear on gravity, so a much cheaper and easier option for us to maintain and not have to maintain this force main, and then Emerald Glen could be tied in on a gravity sewer off to the west rather than the force main, and head and then west and then south, which is already there, other than the and clean that whole force main mess up that's been there for I don't know how long, forever.
I have no issues on the easement, but the road, I have a lot of questions.
Yep.
We've been told repeatedly that there are many things buried in that area that I think would then become our issue.
The concrete.
Yep.
Concrete.
Most of that concrete is in this area, right up here. And they looked into getting it cleaned up and removed, and it's just not feasible. So they've talked about enhancing it and making it more native and natural. And they have already contracted to clean up these sites that they currently own to make them more viable lots.
Native natural concrete.
Right.
Well, if you go out there and look at it now, you've already got a number of trees that are growing over it. You've got vegetation that's growing over it. And there's things you can do to clean it up and make it look nicer and cover it up. But it doesn't, it's not really in this right of way. It's off here in that 4AC space. Basically is where most of that concrete is piled. You go up behind the bus barn there in that 4, go back in through there, and you can see the piles of it back in through there. Most of the concrete was cleaned up by IDOT, and it's now down at Food Liner. As part of that, when DOT came in, they did that for free and cleaned up most of the concrete on that entire site, up here and down here below. If you remember, there used to be huge beams out there. None of that is there any longer, and it was all chopped up as part of that DOT, the project out on 61. So most of that's cleaned up, other than this stuff in here, which is just not feasible to clean up.
But you're talking stuff that's above ground.
Yes.
I'm talking stuff that's in the ground, that's buried in there to put a road in. That whole thing is a big fill. It's just a big fill. You're talking something that is different than putting this road in and being able to dig down through there, and because you're going to hit beams. You're going to hit beams longer than this building is crossed.
Like they had over on the south end there. We can go out there and, once we have the dimensions, we can go out there and, I don't know if pothole's the right term, but we could go out there at the appropriate time and take probably the sewer jet.
Well, it depends on what the ground's like.
At the appropriate time, yeah.
And I'm saying if it's concrete, no.
No, but we could probably go down in there and like pothole it and see what we're dealing with within the parameters of that right away.
Chase, how do you feel?
Samples.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sample,
So sample and see what we really run into. Is that
sample
what
within the
you're saying?
perimeters of there to make sure that we've got the appropriate
Substrate for a road.
substrate, or whatever you want to call it, yeah.
Chase, how do you feel about the red section of the road? Is that a good road and we got 10 years left on that, or does that thing need redone already?
I'd have to go out there and look at it. I was out there a couple weeks ago for a different issue, but I never really paid attention to the road because
It's not the entire red
I
section,
know
it's
this
just,
was brought up.
it's about 2/3 of the red section, and it's concrete now, and,
No
It's-
curb
it's
or
a-
gutter,
no
right?
curb and gutter, it's just, it's a rural standard road out there.
And then the purple section is basically not a road, right? It's
Correct.
chopped up concrete.
The lower red, the purple, and the gray is what we're talking about, and there's no maintenance required out there at all. But interesting opportunity that's come about.
It doesn't feel to me like an opportunity. I think they would have given us this at any point in time in the last couple of years and been
The
thankful for
EDA,
it.
the EDA portion of it, though, is an opportunity that's come about with the disaster declaration and with the unfortunate news of Case New Holland leaving. It puts us in a good position to get EDA funding.
I mean, the overall goal for this, right, would be for them to have new manufacturing coming in those back lots that would then be able to tie to funding sources to redo this road. And by giving it to us beforehand, I just think we're going to be on the hook now for, well, we can't get to the bus barn anymore. We need you to redo the red section. And, well, we gave that to you. It's your deal now.
Yeah.
And by the way, the purple thing wasn't very good at all anyway, so you got to redo that.
No,
And
well, there is no road on that purple section, it's gravel. But that's what I'm saying, that it would have to be spelled out in the documentation that there's no requirements on the city to do anything other than apply for the funding to get the road and utilities constructed. If that grant goes through with EDA and RISE, if they don't both go through, you gotta, it's a moot point.
No obligation to do
No
anything.
obligations. I want to make it, it has to be very clear, and I've told them that multiple times, that it has to be no obligations on the part of the city.
So would this be any,
Yeah, we could put a provision in there that it reverts back after a certain time, too. That'd be another good way of dealing with it. Put a reverter clause in there.
I like that better.
Yeah.
I know that they're worried about not having some size for bringing some of the industry in. I mean, there isn't a real industrial park right now, because what we have left at, and the other one is just small lots, and you're not going to draw in a bigger business.
It's a lot longer-term discussion, but the other piece is out at Beaverdale Interchange. We talked about that a number of years ago, which is why we put the sewer casing in under the interchange before it was built, or while it was being built. 3 corners of that's another opportunity, that early discussions for a business park, so.
but this doesn't tie the city to anything as far as sewer and water?
No.
Because the road, you're gonna go down a foot or 2 or 3 and put road in, but the sewer and water, it's gonna be a mess.
Well, the grant would include
You're gonna go
water,
in there and
sewer,
dig
storm,
down. You're
all
gonna
of those
get
things.
Cement saw and saw down through it, and then you're gonna get another backhoe saw back through it, and
We used dynamite in New England to blast the granite in order to put utilities in.
That's fun.
but
Pretty
that
com-
costs, that
But about
costs
every,
a lot
about
of
every
money.
project we had, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna cost a lot of money.
Well, I got
But no, the utilities would follow the road construction, so it would, the only time it would deviate from the road would be from where that Circle Drive to the northwest, in some fashion through that property, because it's got fall, to allow for a gravity sewer over to, North Gear, and then comes back down North Gear, heading south. I think we can probably clear up most of these things in the language. We can certainly try to get some potholing or some work done to see what's out there within the right-of-way. Klinger has some, those original diagrams, drawings, plats, whatever you want to call them, that we could utilize to mark that out, have them mark it out, and we could try to figure out, work with the chamber and Klinger to see if we could see what's underneath there.
Well, somewhere, there has to be an old diagram of that ground. Somewhere, there has to be. Down at the courthouse or somewhere, there has to be where that was before Raiders went in there, and you can see then where they filled.
I don't think they have a lot of, like, flyover imaging? Is that what you're talking about, imaging?
Yeah, there's gotta be some
There's some
kind
on
of
the
imaging
GIS.
somewhere out
Yeah,
there
the-
for,
You can go on the GIS site and you can go back,
GIS, yeah.
way back.
so I guess I would like to see that, because then that'll give you an idea of what you're going through to fill
If you go to
when you go
the
to put sewer and water in.
Des Moines County GIS site, you just pick the year of the map that you want, and it goes back. Clarity goes down as you go back, but it goes back to the early 1900s?
It's not really.
1950s, 40s, 50s, I think it is.
What possibly got buried, it's gonna.
I'm not going to show you that, right?
You're
Not
gonna
gonna
have
show you
like these
what,
big
but it's
years
gonna
of
show where most
flyover
that fill was at.
between.
Where the fill was, yeah. It'll
Yeah.
show the fill.
And we know what they put in there.
Most of the beams and everything were at this location when Raiders was operating out there. And when DOT was out there, most of the beams were
Yeah,
laying
the beams
this way.
above ground. I'm
Right.
talking what's under the ground.
Yeah, understood.
You're gonna see that on the GIS though.
We might be able to do
You'll
a
see it on
phase,
the GSI, but you're gonna see where it was low at and where it had to be filled.
I'm not sure what all, I'd have to look at it again, and we might be able to do a DNR Phase 1, which is paid no cost to the city, and see that they could do some testing out there too.
There is it's like a MRI type of device that you can use on the ground.
Highway 61.
It'll certainly show you if you had density of cement in certain areas.
There's a number of companies that are out there.
Well, can you get that,
The soil, what's that? I can't think of their name.
you get that and bring that back to me, then I'll have a better idea of what it's gonna
I'll just wait till
consist
January.
of. Huh?
This does show, I think, some flyover before and after. From 98 to 2002.
Be about right.
But yeah, I'll do a little more digging. Just kind of wanted to bring it up and see what the general thoughts were. EDA, more than anything, gives us the opportunity to bring it forward now rather than it's not an application period, it's just an application EDA. So I think that, along with the conversation with our EDA rep, is kind of the key next step as well, to see what they think before we sign or move forward with anything else. Mike's going to have that conversation. So, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Chase?
Mississippi Valley Pump has been down to maintenance all of our lift station pumps. They still have everything down at the sewer plant, but they had to pull 2 pumps out that were having problems and take them back to their shop to dig into it. And I think they're going to be back next week to finish, and hopefully they'll get us a price on what it is to repair the 2 pumps. And then dealing with snow, so.
A lot of great comments about the snow clearing here in the last week. You all did a great job.
Thank you.
Police, fire?
We did get our other Tahoe in finally and got that from Carl Chevrolet and got it all lettered and it's in service now, so that's a big help.
Anything from Kelly, for you?
We do have the coffee and conversation tomorrow at the mall. We'll just meet in the food court, and
It's gonna be freezing.
or I can cancel it.
What time is it? 8 to 10?
8 to 10.
Show up if you can make it, if not, don't show up, right? That's kind of how we've done
They're
it.
seated at the mall,
Oh, you-
just getting in there.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
think
order
come pick me up. You want me to pick you up what time?
Did you order something?
7:45?
Coffee shop,
10:15. You'll miss it.
Huh? What?
Oh. All right. Well, let's go through with council.
Just one thing, I was working with Teresa and Brad and the chief on the animal registration. We got some preliminary stuff we're working on. We did find out that, with Brad checking in, that our current flex, we don't have a module set up. We'd have to pay for a module, so Brad's looked into another program for us, whether we pay a fee or not a fee. And we should have some more information available that we can share. I agree with Teresa, once we get that program, whether it's gonna work for us or not, we should have a work schedule then, because there's some definite things that we need to discuss, whether it would be a fee or no fee, if it's gonna work with the patrol officers in the squad cars, which is another big important thing. how do we keep track, and if there's other things we need to discuss. I agree with Teresa, we should set up a work, because once Brad gets that information, and I think, hopefully we'll have that information if we're gonna, another place that's using this program with the costs involved in that, we have more accurate information then.
Okay.
Do our officers now have a thing that they can scan for a microchip?
Yes, we do.
Yes. But the program that I was talking about originally with the bicycles, that was the old Shield system. And under the new Flex system, the module is not available to us unless we pay for that, which is a lot higher than it used to be, if I'm correct on it, right? Sorry. And so that's why Brad's explored this other situation that it may be a lot cheaper, may be free, I don't know yet, but he is working on that for us, and Chief Logan's also working with us on it, and Teresa and I did have a meeting scheduled up, and eventually it didn't work out, but we got things going, so once we get this information, then we can share it with the council, we can set up a work session then for it.
Ringo, so the Flex one, they don't have a licensing thing, which would be for bicycles and everything. It's one and done type thing. It's just a licensing module. It's not built specifically for dogs or specifically for bikes. It's just a licensing module for Flex. The software we're looking at, it's going to cost money. I don't know how much. I'm still waiting to hear back from them on that. But this allows, if you lose your dog, you have a phone app, you can hit it and it'll let the police know. It'll give them the information on the dog that's missing. Hopefully, maybe what we can do is offset having to take them out to the pound enough that maybe it can pay for the software. So
What do you think in the software is going to cost?
I have no clue. This is new territory for me. I've never priced out pet software that keeps track for registration.
And I appreciate Brad, you doing everything like this for us, but once we figure out what we can do with that program, then I think that we need to discuss how we want to proceed from there, where the fees, no fees, penalties, working with the police department, whether there should be, fees incurred after a certain amount, and how to keep track of with the first contact with the first, let's say if you have a canine's loose, do you do a written warning, then a citation? These are all things we need to discuss, whether we want to proceed with that or not. So our goal, of course, is, and this is the reason why I'm assuming that Teresa brought this forward, is to control the population of the loose dog and cat population we have in the city limits. And hopefully, using these programs, once Brad gets the information, we develop something that's going to be an effective tool that will encourage our residents then to register their pets, and then and using it online that we can effectively get the pets back to the owners if they are loose. So it was
That
just
would be
a matter
great.
of time.
Like I could call and say, the girls got out, and, they'll have the identification that they're terriers and they're cute and birds, and, I mean,
That's what I
People
liked
keep it-
about the software. You can upload a picture of your dog and it even sends them the picture of.
When you're getting ready for that work session, whenever we have it, could you see what Burlington does with their chipping
Yeah.
program?
Yeah.
I know they moved away from the registration part, and they do dog chipping, and they have like a free chipping day, and,
They're not doing any enforcement, though.
I think they do it as they
Just
have funding
FYI.
for somebody to do it. There's a,
ACO, they have an ACO, but I don't think they're doing any enforcement right now, is from the discussions I've had.
I just think obviously they're having success with it, so I would bring up that option to us as well, because I still don't think, we can talk about that during the work session, that's fine.
And that's it,
Just-
Your Honor.
Well, my question is, how about the feral dogs and cats? That have no owners, and there's no owner ever going to say, that's my cat.
They're gonna register themselves.
Gotcha, well, good, that sounds like a great plan.
I think that's going to be a broader discussion with both communities, because you've got to address it community-wide, not just city-wide. And in order to make it work, you've got to get to a certain threshold amount. Otherwise, it doesn't have an impact. There are other folks in the community that have ID and are permitting to take care of stray animals as well, which you can contract with. So,
Well, I'm going to move on, so Andy?
Just a reminder, we'll start voting on, or start taking applications for Business of the Year starting January 1st. So we'll be putting stuff out, getting the website ready. And all of January, you can submit your favorite West Burlington business online. We'll have links on Facebook and everywhere. And then the third Thursday in March, as always, we'll have the winner announced and hopefully have another great group of nominees this year. We had 18 or so last year, so quite a few. Thank you.
John?
I don't have anything, but
All right. Trees?
I don't have anything. I want to thank the guys for plowing. I mean, I didn't have anywhere to go that day, but it was kind of nice to see you come through and clear it out. I blessed you once or twice as I was cleaning my driveway, but, you know, that's to be expected.
Just a couple quick things. I want to thank Kelly and all those who have attended to the Highway 61 redesign project that's going on in the community with Burlington leading it. We've had, it seems like when I've gone to the open houses, there's been West Burlington representation there, which means we're being heard, at least our inputs being provided. And I think Kelly's following up on us attending the meetings that happened during the day.
We did yesterday's Highway 61 Coalition meeting, and they're going to be moving forward with some recommendations. They're going to be putting together a written summary based on Coalition's findings yesterday, or recommendations yesterday, that we'll be able to share Monday. Was it Monday? No, whatever it was. This week. And so once we have those, we'll be able to share the final recommendations, written recommendations that'll be going forward. And then we continue to have discussions about potential connector with West Burlington. I can never remember the name of the road. Sylvania.
Oh, yeah, super.
To see if there's any potential there as well. Pedestrian or road or otherwise. So that remains in the discussion. They do continue to look at roundabout options and locations. So, and one or two pedestrian crossings as well to help facilitate pedestrian crossings across the roadway.
Getting across Roosevelt safely.
Roundabouts make it, in addition to roundabouts, the roundabouts make it much easier to save. If you just look in one direction and you're crossing one lane, maybe two lanes of road or traffic, given the design. And apparently there's some new standards on having signalized crossings at roundabouts, which is new. DOT hasn't adopted it yet, but FHWA has. But they're also looking at perhaps a pedestrian crossing, not tunnels, but pedestrian crossings. So, but those final recommendations will be written up by Snyder and then put forward. And we'll be able to share those with you.
Thanks, Greg. In another spot, last night we had the public officials open house for the, primarily focused on the new members to city councils and school boards, and had a good showing again from West Burlington. Kathy made it there, and Mr. Diaz, Tony Diaz did, Mary Storage, and then some other folks. So it's just good, we're part of the community, we're getting out there and meeting new people, and that all just helps, benefits West Burlington to share, develop those relationships and get to know each other.
I cornered all four of our legislators while we were there.
Good job, Greg. What'd you corner about?
Upcoming legislative session.
Wonderful. Good. And kudos again on the Mall Ring Road. You know what? That black top seems to absorb the heat, so it melted quick. It was safest space to walk on, I think, in West Burlington right after it snowed. So thank you. And tomorrow morning, Coffee and Council at the mall, 8 to 10. I will pick up anybody who wants picked up from the council. Get it. Thank you.
On a bike or?
I'll be walking, unless I gotta pick somebody up, then I'll drive my vehicle with brand-new tires on it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
buy three and get one free?
No, I didn't do that. I know a guy. Took care of me.
I have a couple items. One, we met with the Iowa State people that are working on our housing grant that we received. We will be putting out a survey before very long, and it's kind of on a quick timeline, so once we see that, we'll start getting that into businesses. We're looking at not just the residents of West Burlington for this survey. We're looking at people who have jobs in West Burlington or have students in West Burlington, or in some cases, they're just frequent customers into the West Burlington area. So and it'll divide those things out for us so that we can look at the survey based upon their usage here in West Burlington. But
Ron, has that survey request gone out to people yet?
no.
It has not, okay,
We're hoping to receive a copy of it tomorrow,
okay.
probably later tomorrow, and the booklet that we have to fill out. I sent out we're going to be adding a survey question on some local programs. I sent that out to the committee members. If you could take a quick look at that tonight so I can get back with Tobin tomorrow, I'd appreciate it. Then he'll send us the survey questions and the booklet that we need to consider. We're meeting next week with the steering committee.
I talked to a couple banks to see if they will have a little spot for us. So we'll, either you can pick up a paper copy or you can do a QR code from there at the bank. So we'll continue to move out into some of the other businesses. So if you think of some business where they get a lot of traffic through, that would be places for us to put up this QR code and have a paper copy if they want it instead. So, but because it is on a quick timeline, I thought we better move on it. My other is, next council meeting, I will do installation of our elected officials. And I would like to do that so Andy could get off to his Christmas party. It doesn't really make a lot of difference when, but I thought maybe if we did it like 5:45, I would install the new members at that point. Does that sound?
That'd be great for me if it works for others.
If it works for everybody?
Photos too.
Sounds good.
And,
We are gonna do a group photo too of the
the new council.
new council coming in,
And if you want individual headshots, she's available for that too.
the department heads, I think.
Yep.
Guess I won't wear
Yeah,
my
Chase.
Sweater.
Put it over whatever.
We may or may not make any, modifications to those headshots, but
Put a Santa Claus hat on mine.
Grinch.
Well, anyway, so our next council meeting will be the open house ahead of time, and then also the installation, and then we'll go into regular city business after that. So, with that, I notice that we have no citizens here for inquiries, and we have 2 items under old business. And it looks to me like item number 1, which is the, item number 2 might just be well left on the, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. I must have read something out of order here. Anyway, let's go on to our first item of old business, which is considering the license plates reading cameras and software for the police department.
Your Honor, okay, so I made a motion last time we tabled it. So I think there was a misunderstanding of the obligation on our part on, but anyhow, I guess I'll go ahead and make another motion.
Okay.
And then I can discuss it afterwards.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, all right. So then, with that in mind,
Thank you. I talked to Chief Logan again, and he's for this program, but the reason why he presented it now is that he's trying to find out if it's going to be effective. So they would install all the equipment for free, and it takes 30 days to do that. So he's hoping then, by them installing the equipment, with the locations that he's asking to do that, that by the time we're working on our budget, then he can get a weekly feedback that he can give to us whether it would be an effective tool or not. If we determine 2 things, whether it's not going to be in our budget to purchase it, they take the equipment out at no charge. And if we decide it's not going to be an effective tool, then they would take it out at no charge. So that's the most important thing, is that there is no fulfill obligation then, even if we approve it, and then then he's able to get the feedback once the cameras are installed. And if we determine that it's not going to work out, then we can just say it's just not going to work out. but that's why he wanted to present it during this time, to give them enough time to get installed, and then while we're working on the budget in those 2 or 3 months, then we can make the determination whether you wanted to use it or not. I'm sorry everybody looked at the stats that Burlington has supplied already on their information, that what they've achieved. Of course, being a prior officer, I see this as a good tool, investigative tool, to conclude the investigation quickly, and it does lower costs down, obviously. But the best thing is this: if you're able to identify the perpetrator and bring them to justice, the victim then is getting a reward out of it too, but they're getting the satisfaction. And a lot of times we had gas drive-offs and stuff, similar to that, shoplifters that exceeded, and then, of course, we have had a couple times where we've had, very serious crimes that were committed, that this could have been a really good tool to use to track down the perpetrators very quickly. Obviously, Burlington has success on theirs on the limit, and they're actually expanding now their use of it. So those are some of the things. One more thing is that if we determine on to do it, they also have different contracts where you can actually have a contract set for several years for the same dollar amount. So it would not increase on a yearly, on their budget surprise or anything like that.
But it's a higher amount to start with.
The amount that he explained here, yes. Yeah. But these are things that he wanted to make sure that, and I don't think that came out that well on our last meeting, So it's not like, hey, we approve it and then it's a done deal and it has to be done. We approve it so he can get the equipment in and they set the equipment up. They're paying for, doing all that for free. And if we don't want it, they take it out again for free.
But if Burlington's got it, and it sounds like you know quite a bit about it, are we just installing it because we know we're gonna take it, because you know what Burlington does with it, and you know how it operates? I guess I don't understand what you would see that you would say no to.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Again, because I would be using it as an investigative tool, and I see how many times that we could have used in the past to solve a crime. And I guess as a police officer, and I know that Sergeant Dunham there's no better satisfaction than finding the bad guy and the victim is get something out of it. At least you get the person, because sometimes that's your biggest problem, is finding a track, finding out where those stolen cars, like what happened to the Harley Davidson, and they located, those at some of the other locations. It does help, it expedites, and it does cut down on some of the costs at the end. It doesn't look like it does, but it does, because you're not as having many officers involved in something, where you can streamline that down, the officer involvement where you can track it easier. Again, it's used only for criminal investigation, It's not like an officer's gonna sit there and no officer's got any opportunity to have the time, sit there and watch license. That's not what the goal is here. The goal is that if the complaint's made, we have a problem. Of course, if it's alerted that we have somebody that has a warrant in there, you don't want to have somebody in a warrant in your area anyhow, because usually they're up to no good, or I've done something bad in the past.
Where does it pull that data from? Like, just specifically on the warrant side, so somebody from Chicago drives through here and they have a warrant and it sees that car, where's it pulling that?
Well, that's coming from the Flex, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah, and NCIC, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest challenge is cost. From a budgetary perspective, I mean, $29,100 year one, and then $13,000 each year thereafter for, I believe that was three cameras? Four cameras. That will be the challenge we face during the budget process.
And why aren't we putting one at Broadway and Agency?
They tried to use the key locations of exit points, and you've only got 4 cameras, so they're trying to, where the passes where we had where you had people exit out.
Leave the community versus just
Yeah.
transport. Okay.
And a little bit is working, I think probably, Chief Logan's probably working with Burlington PD a little bit to where it goes back and forth, because it does go back and forth. They try to take, most of the time, they try to take the quickest exit to, the highway or whatever, exit out of town.
Which agency would be onto the freeway, which,
Yeah.
it would seem like that would be a legitimate spot, but nonetheless. But my question, Ringo, was if we said we want to do a demonstration, what are we going to see in the demonstration
Oh, I'm sorry.
that we don't already know by Burlington?
Oh.
So,
Okay.
or are we just saying, yeah, we'll go ahead and do it, we got 30 days, but we're really going to go ahead and take it? Because what can there possibly be in there that would tell us no, that we don't already know?
For me, it'd be lack of use if we have it in there for 30 days and we didn't use it at all.
You think that's going to happen in 30 days? When we put in? No.
It's hard to tell what you can come up with. It's just like going in a patrol car and you're going down a road.
60 days.
And you see somebody has the lights off, and this really did happen. I remember
think it was 60
early in my career, one of the deputies was driving down a Roosevelt, car in front of him, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning, pulls the car over, and turns out the guy was wanted for murder. So you just never know what's going to happen on the license plate. And someone may be proceeding through your town, through your community, that's some of the things, or may not show anything that week, Or maybe during that next 30 days, you don't know, we may have a serious incident happens in our city limits, because we've had that happen before. And they would use these cameras then. You just don't know. I wish I could give you a solid answer on it, John, but I can't.
And it was a 60-day, he clarified at the last meeting, he has 30 to 60 days in the memo, but it was a 60-day trial period.
Yeah. And he would be able to give us, because I talked to Chief Logan again about it, and they would be able to provide, I thought instead of waiting 30 days, it would be more beneficial to the council if he was able to provide us a weekly information of what, if there's nothing that's happened, no activity, or there is activity, but at least you're getting on a weekly basis of what's going on. If somebody, doesn't agree with that, that's not a problem, but that's what I was thinking.
I guess what I'd see is, in 30 days, we'd get the hands-on experience of our own folks trying to use this data and see it. If it turns out it's gobbledygook, it's data, but doesn't mean anything to our people, our officers, we say, oh, nice idea for them, but not for us. Just user interface might be the thing we learn in a short period of time.
There's a memo.
No substitute for experience.
There is a memo from Flock too on there, about, well, from the,
It's about Flock.
about Flock. And Brad's done some research as well. And we would certainly encourage them to do a software patch before we were to adopt it fully, to address those security concerns. But there's no risk to our internal structure or to the police software. They maintain pictures of the rear of the photo and the license plate. It's really information that somebody can go out there and take a picture of with a camera. So to me, the risk is minimal, especially during the trial period, and we would encourage them to certainly fix and patch those issues before we adopt it fully. But the information that's being stored has no ability to get into our internal system and provide any risk to the city itself. And the only things that stored, again, are the rear of the vehicle and the license plate, so that information is minimal that's being captured.
And also, I'm sure that Chief Logan, just like when we use NCIC, it's confidential information, and if an officer uses that for his own personal use, his criminal charges can be, besides administrative charges, it can be brought against that officer. I don't see that ever happening here in our department, but all officers are aware of that when we take the NCIC test and we use the NCIC on a daily basis.
This is public access, getting public. I mean, there's a hole in their system.
So what does this mean here where it says Flock will install them? You will not be permitted to repair or adjust cameras. I understand that part. Flock does not guarantee that they will repair them. if they do, there's another cost to the city.
This is
Are
just
they
this
saying the
person's-
camera goes down, they're not
This is
going?
just this person's experience,
Yeah.
Their opinion.
their opinion, yeah. I don't know,
It's
there
a,
are some links to some of their claims, but
They
I,
cite some
Yeah,
things.
that's not from Flock, John.
This ain't from Florida.
No, that's from an individual.
an individual
Oh,
who
okay.
wrote an opinion,
I'd be
quoting his
hesitant.
sources.
I'd do your own
or
research. I don't
sources
think I'd click on
to
any
which are
links.
himself.
I see.
If you, and he notes his sources at the end, and they indicate they are himself.
I don't think I'm against this in general. My hesitation comes down to if we're gonna spend an extra $30,000 to round it on law enforcement, I don't know if this is where I'd put my money. And maybe it is, but I'd sure like something that somehow can make a difference on the amount of drug use in our town. If I was gonna put an extra dollar into something that wasn't just another adding an officer or paying our officers more, it would be something that would affect that specific thing in our town. And maybe this does that. Maybe this affects some of the dealers coming in the area or things like that.
Well, I'll use an example in the past. When we had our problem on Spring Street, our neighborhood, our entire neighborhood assisted us by maintaining license plate numbers for us. And keeping, they're using their, also their personal cameras. They gave us assistance there too. That did help us finding out who was coming into that neighborhood and who was leaving. And that did help us identify some of the people who were active in drugs, that not in here, but in Burlington also. So I've never been on the drug team here, so correct me if I'm wrong, Sergeant Dunn, but if they identify somebody using drugs in Burlington, that plate number, they can put that in there, I imagine, and then that they can follow that plate. If it came in here, it would identify that plate number coming into our community then. So that would give us some assistance in that area there.
It should pop up an alert for that
Yeah.
plate number.
They can do it just like they do like when we use the NCIC, where you can put a stolen plate number in, and then if you ran that person's plate number, it comes up, the vehicle's stolen. They can do that same thing with this camera system. That's how they enter like the warrants and stuff. Okay, this person is a person of they're doing a criminal investigation, and this known drug dealer is using this type of vehicle, and this is the normal plate number. Remember, they said they can do it in color, vehicle registration, make, model.
Sure.
So
So
Prior-
every time they enter that stuff, is there a cost to that?
I don't have an answer for you on that, John. I don't think there would be, because you're already using the system. It's like NCIC, you don't get charged the cost every time you make an entry in the NCIC.
I don't know.
No, that's why I'm assuming there would not be that additional cost.
Prior experience with street crimes unit, internal street crimes units, operating between 3 and 11, which is typically your busiest times, parking in front of residences that are known drug homes or residences or places of business, making your presence known and aware, keeping the individuals inside. And then have typically been very useful tools. And I know, we do surveillance, but this is very public surveillance. And then am hooking the chief up, and I talked to Cody as well with, for our entire department, some free training that's going to be coming forward that we'll be able to take advantage of related to SRT teams, drugs, et cetera, and it'll be offered free through another local department.
Okay.
But I understand the question. We'll have some more discussion with the chief on that, on tools and cost and what might be effective.
And again, while we're doing our budget hearings, if it's determined that you can't afford it, then obviously they can't afford it and they will exit the equipment out.
Because we also talked about like a portable unit as well, that we can move around town. That, you know, there's some value in that, depending on usage and location that we would control. Something to that effect. That'd be another tool we've talked about. I think we actually brought it up briefly during the last budget discussion, but that's another tool we've talked about too.
How expensive is that?
I don't recall, I'd have to check. But it was a one-time expense, other than, I don't know if there's a software component.
Well, a call for a question on this then?
We're only calling on the test, correct?
Yes. That's the motion.
The trial period.
I have a motion and a second.
Okay.
But I wanted to verify that that was just for the trial period.
Yes.
To start the trial, okay.
Once again, I think that if we're really, if you're doing the time period testing, whatever you want to call it, you're basically saying that there's no reason not to go ahead and buy it. You know, we know what the budget's going to be to a certain extent, whether we can afford it. You know,
Still waiting on revenues. We're making
Very
progress in the budget.
I know I'm not deciding. That data could sway me one way or the other.
Okay, well, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Johnson,
Nay.
Lees,
Aye.
Young,
Aye.
Covert,
Aye.
Crowner.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll see what kind of information we get then. Okay? Our other piece of old business is discussing the designs for updating the city logo. And we should
We
have
are-
at least a couple.
Trying to inch our way forward. Brad took the information from our last discussion and pulled together some alternatives for us. Two concepts essentially. One within the circle, and then a separate WB concept with similar components to it. The single one that you have was one that we did about an hour before the meeting, just to kind of tweak a couple things. I was trying to keep the colors down and match the website. And then, which these do in general, but some of them have more colors than others. Slight variations, the larger font, just to make it easier to read on print, et cetera. So these are an attempt to try to move ourselves forward a little bit. Personally, I kind of like number 3 in the circles, and then the individual one that I handed out separately. I mean, that's kind of the ones that I'm leaning on, and wanted to try to get your feedback tonight and see if we couldn't narrow it down and then try to come back with some final ideas. If you had a top 1 or 2, or if you had some suggested tweaks, go from there and try to get a little closer.
Well, I can't believe we agree on something, because I like number 3 and then number 8. But I like to follow the yellow brick road, but, you know, we made the road yellow, but I'm good.
Is there any input from Tara or someone on reproducibility of these on, like, shirts and?
She said that number 5 would be with a little bit of a tweak to the sun ray, the rays coming off of it, would probably be the easiest for.
More like this. This needs to be tweaked a little bit because it's not quite centered or off. It's offset a little bit, but taking those sunbursts down would help a little bit as well.
How about number 3 that 2 people agreed on already? Can she make that, reproduce that one?
Yeah, I think it runs into, the problem I think runs into like the little details of the grasses, but she didn't, Brad, do you remember if she said that?
I think
Grass?
generally, it depends on the shirt you put it on too. If you use the, I don't know, what do you call it, the stick-on material?
Vinyl.
It's pretty easy, it's
Tara
pretty
was
easy.
okay with this first
Yeah.
stitching?
She said the problem we're gonna run into with the circles is the bunching of the fabric. She says she doesn't see a problem with the grass on there. She sees a problem with it bunching on the shirt, the
Which is,
circle.
it's why that font is a little bit larger on number 3 to make it stand out. And then what we talked about to fix the circle solution is just, you make the outline just very a thinner stripe on a shirt.
Yeah.
Or a circle, or a line, whatever you want to call it, on a shirt. And then that black one on the page, number 6, just kind of gives you an idea of what that would look like with a white outline on it, on a
A dark colored shirt.
dark colored shirt. But you've got different options as you move forward. You can do single colors. For example, on the Public Works, those are all one solid color for easy stamping on the shirts as well. But depends on what you like to use.
The other possibility that I've been told at different times is if you take the circle portion of the circle off, then you have less bunching with it.
Yeah.
And you'll still
Right.
see it as a circle, even if
Yeah.
it doesn't have that black.
Depending on the application, you can make minor tweaks to it. Yeah.
Well, I personally like number 3.
Oh, my gosh, it's 3.
I don't have a problem with 3 or 5. I don't have a problem with either of them.
3 or
5.
5,
5 or the single one with the sunburst attached?
Big one,
the big one.
Big one?
big one.
Where's, there was one up there that had an opening on the bottom of the B on both of them, up there earlier.
I'll scroll up. Let's see.
That was a square one.
Further down?
There.
Oh, these down here that were in the agenda?
I like that one, because it lets you
See the B better.
see the B.
With the white ones?
The one with the tree in it, the B, or the whites, yeah.
With the
left,
white
middle
B?
one.
The white B?
To the left, there you go.
Here, I can actually.
Batteries are not dead, right?
That one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
I like 3.
I think I'm with Johnny, except I would change the path both on that and on 3 to white.
Oh, yeah.
But I like that it's not the blue. The blue looks like water.
Okay. That's 2. We could easily work with tweaking those.
Yeah. Takes 2 seconds.
And the only thing I would other do on that is, like I talked about before the meeting with the greens, I just, to me, blue is Burlington, so I would have different greens be the primary color of the WB, but there's not as much of it on that version.
It helps it stand out a little bit.
You could, Andy, we could go with black instead of the blue on some portions and still have the green for the trees and the grass and so forth.
Black and green, kind of your Falcon colors.
Yeah.
On a black shirt, you could do the white.
White outline.
B, the whole white.
You can do white W on a black shirt, yeah.
And then if you go with 3, just some minor adjustments, I would make sure that top piece of grass next to the W, that there's some more space between those. And then the same thing,
You like the, pardon me, do you like the other one better, the other grass
I think would fit better.
on
on the
2?
WB version?
I like the spacing on the 2 version better, or on 1, between the grass and the west.
It's the same.
Is definitely not the same.
I meant, the spacing on 1 and 2 and 3 are the same.
Not
Well, between
between,
the, I see what you're saying.
between the piece of grass and the W and west.
Where it's spelled
Oh,
out.
so shrinking it,
oh,
shrinking
sure.
that?
And then same thing, the piece of grass that overlaps
Gotcha.
with the W and WB, I would not have that overlap.
Gotcha. you like the West Burlington in blue, or would you keep that, would you put it all in green and get rid of the blue?
Green.
Couldn't tell if it was in black or blue on this one.
Yep, should be in blue. I tried to make them all website colors.
I just think the square one up there just makes it look a little bit better than a button.
Then the circle, green, black, green or black?
Where's the blue stuff?
The circle on 3,
Yeah,
I like black, but
yeah, okay, cool.
Where?
The circle
the circle here being
Itself.
blue or black, if they go with that one.
Black.
Yeah, black's better.
kind of moves us towards Falcon colors.
Yeah, it's black. It's black to me. I think
I like the blue, but
I guess I thought it was black, but maybe it's blue.
It's a dark,
These are the
dark navy.
colors that
these are the
our
what,
website.
yeah, these are the website
Black
colors.
to
We
me.
tried to stick closer to the website colors.
Makes it hard because every monitor
they're
looks
blue.
different.
The only one that, the only one that's black is number 2, I
You're
believe.
serious? Maybe we go with a
See, this
different color
one is
blue.
blue.
I like the
Oh,
gray
you
road.
like the blue 'cause
You do? On that one
Like
too.
black.
Narrowing that down,
What if you
You
did like a
should
light
be-
blue?
able to work some on that, right?
Yep, I like
I
the
don't think
gray.
that fits very well, does it?
It's not a deal breaker, but I like that better.
I just like to me, that looked clean on that one, so I wondered if that would look
Jeez.
2 different
clean
colors.
on that one.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, that's 2. I think we've made progress.
Yeah.
We can come back with those.
Plan on that coming back next
Those are blue.
Yep.
okay.
session? All right.
And,
Dark
and leave a gray version of that road too, that's what Johnny
Gray,
likes.
gray on the road?
Gray on the trail.
Also do a white one,
Oh, I know.
yeah, a gray and a
Gray
white.
and white, yeah.
I like the blue, but I do agree that it looks like water, so.
Having gone through our old business, we have no new business. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So blue.
Support.
A motion and support.